I'm back. We're going to go over vocabulary words and the anchor chart before we start our reading. The first vocabulary word is a review word from last week, and it's trip. When you take a trip, you go somewhere from one place to another place. I took a trip to Oregon. Sometimes we take a trip to the zoo. Sometimes we take a trip to the park or to the pool or to the pumpkin patch. Partner. When you work with a partner, it's two or more people. Partners are usually just two people. These kids are working together to get work, to do schoolwork. Wished. When you wish for something, you hope that it happens. This kid is making a wish by blowing out their candles. I wonder what you think she's wishing for. Probably a new toy. Last. That kid is the last one to get on the bus. Or sometimes the bus comes at last. It means it took forever, but it's finally there. Today, I want you to think about the author's purpose. What does that mean? It's why authors write. They have one of the purposes. It's easy as pie to remember. The P for pie is persuade. The author tries to persuade readers to agree or to do something. An example of that is, which do you like better? M&Ms or Skittles? Why? And then the person would write about one or the other and why the one's better than the other. To inform is to teach you. The author gives facts and information about a topic. They want you to learn something. Entertain is when the author writes for readers to enjoy. So it's usually funny, humorous, and you really like reading that story. Cat in the Hat is an example of an entertaining story. It's kind of silly what the cat does. How can you figure out the author's purpose? Well, first you look for clues about the genre. Then you read and you find answers. So the story we're going to read today is called My School Trip. And it's a realistic fiction is the genre. And that means this story is made up. It's a fiction, so it's not a true story. But it could happen in real life. So you look for things that could really happen in real life. Like, it looks like, look at the cover. It looks like there's a school bus, looks like a class, looks like a teacher. All that's real life stuff, even if the characters in the book are not real. The characters who are like real people, places that seem real, events that could really happen. You set a purpose. As you read, stop and think if you don't understand something. Reread, look at pictures, and use what you already know or ask yourself questions. And then remember these power words that we're going to go over. Okay, I'm going to start reading the story now, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions as we read the story. My school trip. We took a school trip. First, we took a bus. Nan was my partner. I think you can make a connection here. Did you go on a school trip last year, on a field trip, and did you have a partner to sit with in the seats? Nan was new at school. Was Nan mad? Was Nan sad? The trip was to a butterfly garden. And I told you in the last time I read this story that the zoo near my house in Oregon has a butterfly exhibit where you can go and you can see all the pretty butterflies. Pam had a butterfly. Dan had a butterfly. I wished I had a butterfly. Now, my question to you is, what kind of text is this, and how do you know? We already read that it's a realistic fiction, and how do we know that? Great, because there's real kids. There's kids that look like kids would look in real life. Butterflies are real. Could really be a school trip, and there could really be an exhibit for a butterfly. That's all tells you that it's realistic fiction. I had a butterfly. Nan was sad. Look at her face. She looks sad. Nan had a butterfly. Nan was happy at last. Nan is my new friend. My school trip was great. Now let's go back to the chart. And I'm going to ask you what you think the author's purpose was. Why do you think the author wrote the story? And what do you think the author wants you to learn? Was she trying to persuade you? Was she trying to inform you? Or was she trying to entertain you? Now it's your turn to go to Schoology and post what you think the author's purpose is and what you think the author wants you to learn. Have fun, readers.